The Neo Geo Pocket was a handheld console brought to the market in 1998 by arcade juggernauts SNK in an attempt to snatch some of that elusive market share that the seemingly unstoppable Nintendo Game Boy continued to dominate. It boasted 16-bit processing power behind a monochrome display and was intended to host a library of scaled-down ports of SNK's world-famous arcade titles. It initially retailed exclusively in Japan. It was very quickly succeeded by the Neo Geo Pocket Colour, which, as the name suggests, was a colour screen upgrade of the original. This time it was released not only in Japan but in the USA and Europe in 1999. Unfortunately, it didn't make a big enough impact on the market to dissuade gamers away from the ubiquitous Nintendo Game Boy, and what with parent company SNK going through financial difficulty by the year 2000, exacerbated further by poor third-party developer interest, the Neo Geo Pocket Colour was sadly discontinued in 2001, by which time it had sold in the region of 125,000 units worldwide. Those who have experienced the Neo Geo Pocket Colour, or indeed its monochrome older brother, may attest to its technical brilliance. The micro-switched thumbstick is widely regarded as the best directional controller of any handheld, bar none. The TFT screen is superb, clean and crisp, most impressive for that time, and it had a whopping 40-hour life on just 2 AA batteries. Were it equipped with an illuminated screen, it would have been world-beating from a technical perspective. It is certainly one of my favourite handheld consoles, not least due to the sheer joy that playing one can give, but the quality of a good number of the 82 games in the library is, as to be expected from SNK, simply brilliant. So it has been tough to narrow it down to just 5 great games, and as always, your mileage may vary. So, without further ado, I present to you my 5 of the best Neo Geo Pocket Colour games. Quite inevitable really that I'd pick this one, since I am so very enamoured with the arcade series as it is. However, if you're expecting more of the same run and gun hijinks on this pocket-sized port, you may be disappointed or pleasantly reassured. Because you see, in Metal Slug First Mission, the gameplay is quite different this time around. There's much more platforming to be had, and the levels are much less straightforward, calling for more exploration. There's a much less linear progression to the game as well, and you may find secret paths to different levels. Needless to say, the graphics are much less impressive than the arcade counterpart, but it makes no difference. The gameplay is still robust and enjoyable, perhaps even more so with the introduction of the health bar instead of one-hit deaths. However, you are afforded only 1 life, although if you've picked up money along the way, it can be traded for another try. This is a welcome shake-up of the formula, which carries over nicely to a handheld. If, like me, you love the Metal Slug series, this is a fantastic iteration, which brings a familiar experience with some welcome new variations to keep you interested. Neo Turf Masters is a phenomenally good golf simulator on the arcade consoles, and this here is a lovely translation of the same game to the portable. Of course, as always, you're looking at a graphical downgrade, goes without saying really, but what you also get is a highly enjoyable and easy to play sports game which loses none of the charm. As was very common for the pocket versions of popular Neo Geo games, the art style opts for a more chibi cartoon appearance, which works rather nicely. It's about as faithful to the NASCAR original as you're likely to get on a small device, but it's pretty much all there. There are 8 player types to choose from, each with their own unique skill balances and a choice of courses to play, and the control scheme is just as you remember it from the arcade. Take care to choose the right club and pay attention to the wind before you swing at that ball. Getting onto the green in one stroke is still hugely satisfying. The pick up and play accessibility, charming music and slick presentation make this a must-have title. Also available in black and white, the Pocket Tennis is about as perfect a tennis game as you'll find. It's simply gorgeous, and once again, it's instantly accessible. The controls are elegantly simple and intuitive, further enhanced by that wonderful 8-directional thumbstick. Don't let the cute and cuddly look of it all fool you though. Your opponents get progressively more challenging as you play on. However, it is one of the more satisfying tennis games I've experienced. Choose your player character out of a selection of 8 and compete against the remaining 7, all of which have a variety of skill sets. In the colour version there are 4 courts to choose from, and you can further tailor your experience with a choice of 1, 3 or 5 set matches, perfect for when you're on the go. There's a vast array of trophies to be won, the availability of which being tied to the Pocket Colour's built-in calendar, as well as an intriguing unlockable character, which adds replayability value, as does the option to battle a human opponent if you are equipped with 2 devices and a link cable. Fluid gameplay, delightful graphics and a good honest challenge make this an essential title for your collection. There weren't many third-party titles for the Pocket Colour, but you can't get much more third-party than Namco's PacMan. This didn't even get a run on the Neo Geo arcade cabinets, but here it is, squeezed into a handheld port. There are no new gimmicks, no extra features, it's just an almost arcade-perfect conversion of the iconic pill-popping classic. This one came complete with a grommet for your thumbstick to convert it into 4-way, and believe me, it helps quite a lot. None of the difficulty has been lost in translation, it's about as tough as ever. There are 2 display modes to suit your style. There's a full screen mode that fits the entire level on screen at once, but at the expense of detail, and a scroll mode that, by way of concealing much of the level from your view, can add a little extra challenge since you can't see where all those pesky ghosts are. Hardcore gamers may scoff at the dated gameplay and the lack of anything particularly new or indeed all that impressive for a 16-bit machine, but I like it, and given that the Pocket Colour was born from an arcade-oriented company, it's kind of fitting to see one of the most famous arcade games on the console. I'm not much of a fan of one-on-one fighters per se, but The Last Blade Beyond the Destiny is to me a fascinating and exciting offering. It's a ported down amalgam of both of the Last Blade titles found on the Neo Geo arcade units. There is a range of play modes on offer here: survival, time attack, story, training and some unlockable secret modes, which make this a rich and enduring experience, beyond what you might reasonably expect for a handheld conversion of a cutting-edge arcade title. That said though, the roster of playable characters is reduced for the handheld port, but there's still plenty to choose from. The pared down controls on the handheld version make for a tighter and more streamlined fighting mechanic, and as a result I think it plays much more easily. Considering the limitations of the Pocket Colour, the character sprite animations are impressive, and the movement is nicely fluid. It's not quite as frantic as other fighting titles, and there's more opportunity to work on technique, making the battles feel much more skillful and therefore more enjoyable. Throw in some impressively atmospheric music for a top-notch experience not to be missed. Now, I was reluctant to include this one in the main list because it seems it's literally on everybody's lists, so instead it has a special mention outside of my top 5. Sonic Pocket Adventure has the dubious distinction of being the first Sonic title to appear on a non-Sega machine, hitting the shelves in 1999, and it was arguably the killer app for the Neo Geo Pocket Colour. It brings together all the best elements of the 16-bit 2D Sonic games and is basically a remake of Sonic 2, but it features unique zone layouts and adds collectible puzzle pieces which can be found throughout the game and are used to unlock special stages. In addition to the story mode, there's a time trial mode and a duel mode which offers 2-player action via the link cable. Until the subsequent Sonic Advance on Game Boy Advance a few years later, Sonic never looked so good on a portable console. The graphics are quite simply beautiful, vibrantly coloured and gorgeously detailed. The music is excellent, borrowing a little from Sonic 2 and a little from Sonic 3, all brilliantly remixed here for the Pocket Colour. It looks, sounds and feels just like a Sonic the Hedgehog title should, and it is impressive that none of the speed from its forebears has been sacrificed to bring it to the small screen. It goes without saying that this is an absolute must for anyone, be you a Sonic fan or a Neo Geo fan. And there you have it, that was my top 5 Neo Geo Pocket Colour games. If there's a game or two that you like better, do leave me a comment below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe for more. If you'd like to help to support this channel, please consider becoming a member on Patreon for as little as $1. Patreons will receive a credit on future videos. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you next time on Retro Respawn.